Alright, hey, morning folks. Okay, today we're going to be doing episode 3, which is a little bit trickier. Let me just sort of pan the camera over. I now have a stand, which is fantastic. So, here we go. So, we got the side, basically the hull of the boat is more or less stripped off, except for the very front. And down here you can see I've started to apply some of the paint stripper on the side. And the problem I ran into is I put a coat on and it really just sort of runs off because it's just too liquidy. And I'll give you an example. I'll just pour some onto my brush here and I'll give you an example of how sort of runny this stuff is here. And you'll see what I'm talking about. It simply doesn't really work that well on the side. So I came up with kind of an idea here. You can sort of see it's just pouring down the side. I mean, if I put a lot on, of course, which you need to do, it needs to stay on like you see the stuff on the right. So here was my idea. I'm going to pan you over here. So what I've got is, and no, this is not an illegal substance. This is actually just household flour. So, and I've got our favorite relish jar here, which I did borrow from the Admiral's Kitchen, and I did ask first. So it was there is no relish in there. This is not a combination paint stripper relish. This is household flour. So what I do is I sort of prepare what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Safe Strip paint stripper, and I'm just going to basically pour it right into it. And I'm sort of guessing here, it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio here, so I can sort of zoom in there on it. You can see I put in about 1/4, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about that much flour and just basically pour it in and mix it up. And the idea is that the flour will act as some kind of binder here to basically thicken up the paint stripper so that it'll stick to the side of the hull better. Because really how it works, and I've sort of over the last 2 years figured out that I'm going to put a little bit more in, I didn't put enough. Figured out that basically the thickness of it on the hull makes all the difference in the world. If you just put a little bit on thinking you're going to be, you know, I don't know what the word is, but frugal with it maybe is a good word. It just doesn't work. Well, it doesn't really work at all. So, okay, so what I've got here is sort of a nasty mix of flour. Wouldn't suggest eating this. And I'm going to zoom you over here. Let me just and there. So let's apply it. See how thick this is. So you saw the other stuff, it just ran right off, and I'm going to take this and just sort of plunk it on. You can see it's sticking on an awful lot better than without the flour, obviously. So I'm going to apply this here. And what I'm going to do is I haven't actually tested to see what the flour will do to the chemical reaction that the Safe Strip has on the paint. So I'm just going to apply it to, say, this much of the back of the boat here and see if this works before I go and ruin a whole bunch or waste a whole bunch of paint. Paint thinner. Paint stripper, sorry. And we'll just see how it goes, okay? I'm going to put some up here too because it didn't quite get right along these rivets here. I didn't put enough on there last time. But again, I don't pretend to be some kind of chemist here, but I do believe that, you know, the thickening of it, I'm just going to take this whole jar and finish it off here. Thickening of it really makes all the difference in the world in terms of how well the paint comes off. So just about down here. Let's get the last little bits here. And I did ask the Admiral to borrow the flour. But I did say that in the process of borrowing it, I probably wouldn't be able to return it, so nor the jar. But it's very important to remember to ask the Admiral when you are borrowing things, meaning that you are taking them on a permanent basis, to ask her first, because well, if you don't, she might get kind of cheesed off. So anyway, here we go. Paint stripper, not a legal substance of flour, and a jar, relish or anything, can be anything, could be a pickle jar, but something to mix it up in, and off you go. So I'm going to stop here. I'll wait a couple hours, going to do some leaf work here, and we'll come back and see if how this works on the side of the boat. Take care, guys. Bye.